Let me know when you're ready, Nicole.
Ready.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to order this program work commission meeting open today is April 19th. Extra agendas are on the back table. Please join me, excuse me, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. First up, we're looking for approval of minutes from April 12th.
I'll move. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passed unanimous. Next up is Steam Machine, Dallas Community School update. Amy Richardson. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. I'm not violating any noise ordinances out there, but sometimes it's better to see it than to talk about it.
Thank you.
So hopefully we had a chance to kind of go visit the steam machine
Thanks,
a
sir.
little bit. Welcome. So today I just wanted to give a brief update. You're gonna give me all the control there? We'll see how that works. So just a little update. Seems like forever ago that I came and talked about what our goals were for the steam machine. At the time, I was at Lock Rail Middle School as the principal, was kind of leading the STEAM committees for the district. And we were really looking for something different and really wanted to promote this kind of learning. Having my own kid in my own school, I knew that it was really important to engage kids with hands-on, but also looking at their futures and the different skills that they'll need versus what we grew up with, more factory workers. So they're gonna have to be thinkers and doers. So the Innovate Dallas, which is kind of now created its own little beast with the steam machine, was really just a notion that we had, but we wanted to create Dallas as a place where people could feel like it was an innovative community where we were forward thinking. Our kids were our priority, and we wanted to highlight that kind of learning. So it's been a couple years, and there's been a lot going on. So we'll just kind of talk about, I've kind of reviewed a little bit about that, but the purpose of the STEAM Machine project was to promote STEAM education, which is really authentic learning, hands-on critical thinking where kids have to work in teams, the grown-up skills that you and I get to do every day. So it puts them in situations where it's challenging work, hopefully real work that kids can really problem solve and feel like they can be a part of the solution. We call that deeper learning. One of the bigger things was we wanted to create a buzz, and the steam machine, as you see it, is sort of it's a spazzy looking, you can't miss it. And that was purposeful. We had a designer go through and really just made it kid friendly, but really vibrant. And we created these drive-in field trips. So the field trips that we take to OMSI, much like that. There's this one section of OMSI where you can't get the kids out of. I've taken many a field trip there with groups of kids, but it's always that hands-on, messy, we're flying airplanes, they're doing all kinds of things, the bells and the whistles sort of thing. So we wanted to create that, but really be able to go out and meet people where they were, whether it was crazy days, whether it was art in the park at a local elementary school. We wanted to promote this kind of learning. And then the storytelling and community partnerships. One of the best pieces of this whole project is that community partner piece. We've had people just come out of the woodwork and really want to be a part of something that feels like this. Whether they wanted it for their own kids, whether they want it for their business, their future, economic, anything, they really wanted to be a part of it. So it wasn't a hard story to tell because we were very passionate about it, but people started to catch on and they wanted to become a part of it. Whether they were throwing on a set of tires onto the steam machine, whether they're helping out with a wrap, whether they're fixing the radiator, whatever it was, they wanted to be a part of it. And that was probably one of the biggest and best parts of this whole program. And it continues as we talk about and give updates to different groups that have collaborated with it, but also, given some monetary or some physical sweat equity labor. it's been a good thing so that they're able to see it come to life. And so but at the end, we want to make Dallas a place where people see us as innovative. So we've been busy. We've done a lot of hands-on, activities. They're called make-a-thons. We've had exhibition nights at the school. Some of you have been invited and seen those back before COVID. We have maker socials, community baker challenges, which are all engagement, where we helped out the Dallas Retirement Village. And we worked with them on a real problem, and our kids were able to bring their ideas to the table. And then we were actually able to launch some of our drive-in field trips before the pandemic. We were really just ramping up. Whitworth Elementary, we went to Lyle, we went to Dallas Community School several times. We even took the steam machine up to Portland with it's called the COSA conference, district statewide administrators, where we met up with different other kind of innovative buses, and we kind of celebrated that. But lots of buzz, lots of great ideas. Even had a few requests to go to Newburgh, to go to Woodburn, to take the steam machine out and serve multiple communities. So it was really cool. And then we also been out to the Crazy Days in the Art in the Park. So that's kind of where we've been, but it's, we were, like I said, just ramping up. But here's kind of how we started. It was a donated bus. I actually invited the Beaverton Future Bus, which is a bigger one, but I wanted our community to see that what was possible. Not that I needed a bus or we wanted a bus, but at the end of the day, we had the car doctor, Rick. He came out and he says, "Hey, you ever think about having your own?" I said, "Well, wouldn't that be awesome?" But he says, "I'll have a bus in front of my shop that I would really love to see if we can get it moving." So it was a dilapidated 1994 E350 shuttle bus, and it was just parked for years and years. So it had a lot going on for it, but it had a lot of issues too. As you can tell, we did a lot of work on it. The floor was replaced. We had to do a lot of the engine work in that to keep it running. But at the end of the day, we were able to come up with a pretty amazing, pretty dynamic bus that you'll get to see today. So it's come from a long ways away. It's taken a lot of work and a lot of energy and a lot of people, but we've really tried to create something that's been really useful, and we hope for more in the future. So here's kind of how it was going before the pandemic. We were able to go to some of our drive-in field trips. That top right-hand corner are our STEAM ambassadors. Another part of the Polk program is to get our kids involved in educating other kids. So it's a leadership program. We call them our ambassadors. They go out and they help promote this kind of learning. But even when we do our drive-in field trips, they're the ones that were mostly doing the work, that they're actually doing the teaching and all of that. So another huge highlight of this kind of learning is it develops these kinds of leaders. You'll see my STEAM team right down there in the orange sweatshirts. Can't miss them. But that's a group of people that have been dynamic in this project and really great supporters. Even since I've moved on from Montreal, I still have their support and they want to be a part of it. And just some of the internal what you'll see today. So that's how it was going. And then that good old pandemic came on board. And so it felt like we weren't ever going to get back out on the road. But eventually we were able to come back. And so our program, we did some summer programs this obviously the summer. We're able to kind of do some things outdoors. We wanted to design the steam machine so it could go anywhere. We could set up shop, whether it's at the park, whether it's downtown in front of the courthouse, wherever you want to go, so we can take everything with us. And eventually we outgrew ourselves. You can tell the little container trailer down there, we had too much stuff. And so we worked with Forest River and they helped us with the trailer, and then we made it match. But it's been ultra useful. We can take our stuff, our junk, whatever we have, because the program changes from place to place to place. We can one day do a computer science one, the next one it's solar energy. So it's designed so we can meet different programmatic needs of our kids. And it's worked out great for each of the grade levels that we go to. It can, whatever the teachers are trying to get accomplished, we can support that. So we didn't go away, but we're here. So the funds that you were able to, the grant that you issued us went to much good. And we're now just starting to realize what we can do with it. The downtime was almost kind of nice because it helped us get our programs in our I think what our needs list together, because we were just flying by the seat of our pants. Our first field trip was Harry Carey, I think, but we did a great job and the kids had a great time. But it really allowed us to kind of back up and have a better plan. So a lot of the purchases that you'll see that we used go directly into the development of the bus, the creation of the programs. For instance, the design, we have, the creator makerspace pieces with laser cutters, 3D printers, and vinyl cutters. Those are the things that we want kids to go out and create with. The design was to allow whatever a kid wanted to make, they could make with the items of the bus. So we could go out, set up shop in the park, and we could do a maker design camp where kids could come and create their own t-shirt or walk away with their own vinyl, anything. So it's been a really fun project for me. It's been something I needed, and that's, where I was struggling a little bit was some of the things that kind of hamstring us in education sometimes, or most of the time. Was one of the bigger reasons that I moved on to Dallas Community School. The Community Innovation Partners, the 501c3 that runs the school, really matches my philosophy about innovation, getting these kinds of activities to our community, but also highlighting and celebrating those things with our kids. So the move was, I think, a really positive, and it has put us in a situation where the STEAM machine is now going to be even more useful. With our development of a new high school, we have now STEAM ambassadors that are going to, just the spring term, going to be going out and doing ecology lessons and biology lessons with kids. And they're going to use the STEAM machine as the backdrop of that. So it's been a good move. I miss being with the district. I think there was a lot of good things going on there. But I think now that I'm at the community school, there's a lot of good things that can be partnered with the STEAM machine. So, but huge thank you to all of our partners. Those are listed, whether it was trying to patch up some holes, whether it was outfitting it for electrical, like an RV system. But you guys really, with the grant, really made this program able to come to life. So we appreciate it. Any questions?
Is the entire grant spent?
We have just wrapped up that piece of it. We're working with Nicole to make sure we have all of our reports, and just need to make sure what that looks like and that you guys get what you need. But yep. So we just wrapped it up actually last month with one of our last purchases.
And ownership of the STEAM machine lies with?
It is now with Dallas Community School. So.
Okay. What kind of process was that to move it from Dallas School District?
It wasn't easy. I think we tried to do a really good job of keeping Innovate Dallas separate from the school district. The district did do some work for us, like they did register the vehicle and they did insure it for that short period of time. And they were a great partner, but we wanted to make sure that whatever it was this other entity, Innovate Dallas. And so it took a little bit of signature, a little bit of, work, but at the end of the day, easy to sign over. And so all that was a good thing.
And so what kind of an agreement? You're indicating that Dallas School District will have access to it for programs that they're responsible for. So what kind of an agreement or a process do you have?
Well, actually, it is now, it's always kind of been a separate. It was just clouded by the fact that I was the principal at Lock Real. Gotcha. And I was doing all the extra work. So the agreement really is, we want to support all kids in Dallas. So the field trips that we're planning probably will go to local elementary schools. And we'll support that in that way. And we want to still continue with staff development. Really, the STEAM Machine project was also built to inspire teachers, to show them that this kind of education is great, it's engaging, but it's not overwhelming. We can be there to support people. And so we're here to support all kids in Dallas. And that is really how we left that agreement. And so that's our plan. Yeah.
So you'd indicated about field trips. You're not using the STEAM machine in its current capacity for hauling kids to
No,
OMSI and other places.
no,
That
it
was
is
confusing.
to create that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we purposefully took out all the seats and no seatbelts. So it would be an adventure, but.
Last kid standing one.
Yes.
You can lessen on inertia.
Mm. Now you're thinking. Well, we lost Jimmy. But the kids love it and you know, all the work that went into it, the kids were helping design it. And they helped design the activities as well. So,
How many kids do you hope to serve in the coming year now that we're open?
right? Well, initially we had planned for 2 field trips a month.
Okay.
And so that, you know, equates to about 60 kids a month. And, you know, one of my favorite things that we did since and then kind of opened up was art in the park. We just set up shop in the park. We had some flight simulations where it's just a tube and kids create, you know, little spinners or paper airplanes. The kids stayed there for hours and the parents loved it. So activities like that, where we get out and talk to people about what we're about, but also show them. So the classrooms are one thing, but also events would be another thing.
Do you do any multi-grade kind of cohorts working together, or is it usually a particular class age group?
At this point, it's been just to support a particular lesson or content that has been in the classroom.
Cool.
Art in the park was just something we threw together that we thought would be fun. But yeah, we had ages of 5 years old up to 15 that we couldn't get rid of. So it was great.
I'm really big on this stuff. It comes to youth giving opportunities that they don't usually get. It's amazing. And you have one of your sponsors in the back row here in Tremor News, Ann Shank. And thank you, Ann.
Thank you, Ann.
Amazing. But did you keep track of all of your in-kind values and dollars?
Yeah.
I'm curious for the record, what was the total investment in getting this?
I was just finishing that up yesterday. And in total, I think we're about at $60,000 for the whole project. So the amount that was given in the grant and some of the other in-kind or monetary donations, a lot of the donations came too. So it was about 50%. And that was pretty cool. When we had to take it back to the White's Collision time after time after time because we couldn't fix a leak. Because we kind of put a wrap on a piece of junk, but it's beautiful. You'll love it. But we couldn't find a leak. But every time we took it back, they still wanted to work with us and they still wouldn't bill us and all of that stuff. And anytime I take it back to the car doctor, he's willing to put in, you know, his time as donation. So it's just created this mentality that this is our project, this is our community project, and they want to be supportive of it. And that, again, I think it's been really cool.
The more people get involved, the more success it's going to be.
Yes.
So, and I'm feeling the loss of the Salem or the Dallas Public Schools, but I'm feeling that Dallas Community Schools is gained a major champion. So great job. Thank you.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So we have one more thing, and if you can hang around, we'd love to check out the steam machine.
I will stick
I got
around.
a feeling a lot of people here would like to see it too.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next up is update from Hampton Lumber, Christine Neese.
Thank you very much for allowing me to come here today. I first want to say thank you very much for your support with the West Valley Fire District. I know that that is something that you guys were instrumental in and vocal in. And thank you. I heard the sirens at 5:30 this morning. There was an 81-year-old person who needed help. And I know that coming from Sheridan or Grand Ronde, it would have taken a lot longer to get out Willamina Creek. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Also, we want to say thank you for having these videos. Everybody who's instrumental in putting these videos on YouTube, it is phenomenal, especially during wonderful COVID times. It was great to get the minutes online, and now with the videos, I can watch them after they've been posted. So I am one of those viewers that you see that go online and actually watch these on a weekly basis. So thank you very much for everybody who helped put those, because I'm not technologically sound at all. I don't know how that stuff works, but I appreciate those that do. So thank you very much. Just as a little update, lumber market is strong. I know that you got my bullet points. I'm not gonna belittle this, but we are in kind of a tight spot with logs. It is something that our market is always looking at. Logs are the #1 cost for any kind of mill that is in the lumber industry at all. And if you have a vehicle, you know how expensive it is to fuel up right now. And we have logs that come in, we have lumber that goes out. Fuel is a huge issue for us. So we are a little nervous about what.
Well, Christine, could you introduce yourself too for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll put down so people listening know who's talking.
Of course. My name is Christine Neese. I'm with Hampton Lumber out of Willamina, Oregon. Okay. On the timber front, Hampton did recently purchase some forest lands. 5,400 acres are in the Tillamook County around Depot Bay, and then 3,800 acres between Polk and Yamhill County. So we are still looking for timberlands and opportunities to support our local mills. We've had, and you guys know, and I've seen the video from ODF that was here last week about the private forest accord. Hampton was one of the 12 signatories for the owners of timberland that were on that, along with the 13 environmental agencies. So Hampton takes a lot of pride in knowing that our forest lands are important. We want them around for generations and generations to come. We know that we have to give up a little bit in order to gain a lot. So we are very proud to be part of that. That supports a lot of our waterways, our riparian zones. They're talking about tens of thousands of riverfront property that's going to be 10 to 100% in those buffer zones going forward. Increases in our road developments and our culvert management so that we can help protect our salmon, steelhead, bull trout, salmonids. There's even a little bit about beaver management. So Hampton's very proud to be part of that. On the other side of things, the state forest lands, and that's what the handout that I passed out this morning is in regards to. This was something that's been in the works for quite a while. And we can get you some more information about this. I know that Laura Wilkeson said that she's worked with, especially you, Commissioner Pope, in the past. And she's the one that has been going through this 800 and so page document that was posted for ODF for the EIC that came out on March 18th. I just did hear that we got an extension for only about 15 more days for public comment. So she's been very vocal on going around to city councils and educating them on what this is about. So we'll go over that just a little bit from our standpoint today. But she has a lot more information. She's still going through it with a fine-tooth comb, bless her heart, a lot of reading. But she posted this, and that's what that piece of paper that I handed out, she just was able to get that to me this morning. But we are glad that we had 15-day extension. Our limit for public comment was actually May 17th, and now it's June 1st. We had a couple agencies that asked for 60 days, but we'll take 15 days, take whatever we can get. As far as what it stands for, you guys probably know this, but it's for the next 70 years. And this affects almost 750,000 acres in the state of Oregon. We are looking at 5 different alternatives that they've come up with for the EIC, 3 of which don't really differentiate very much. I mean, it's a difference of 59 million board feet, which really isn't a lot. Hampton Lumber, last year, we harvested almost $30 million worth of stumpage. And one of our issues with this is the lack of the socioeconomic analysis. From our side, we've looked and seen what we have paid out. And with that $30 million of state forest lands that we have purchased over this last year, we estimate about 40 million that we have paid for our secondary subsidiaries. So those people that log, that maintain the roads, that are our mill employees, including their benefits, people that sell our lumber, resources that haul it. And there's this whole other side of it besides just the stumpage value. So that is one of our concerns. They did come up with the 5 alternatives. One of them is quite misleading. The first alternative, which is no alternative really. And that is a 40 million reduction. But going over all of the alternatives, we're really hoping that alternative 5 is the one that is actually exercised. Even that is only 15,500 acre back into the pool of potential forest lands that can be harvested. So our concern is that socioeconomic impact and the fact that they really haven't, in our opinion, done a due diligence to see how that really affects our economies. Willamina, it says on the sign, Timbertown, USA. We take a lot of pride in that. We've got a few mills in our little community, and that's a big part of who we are. With that, one of the issues is it assumes that 3 jobs are created per million board feet of harvest. Most people actually assume it's 11 to 12 jobs, just to put that in perspective. This also doesn't account for the tertiary. So Hampton is a very generous company. It's one of the things I absolutely love about working for them. And they have donated to what we call our pump track in Willamina. Kenna West has probably been in contact with you guys too, but I mean, we've got a $9 million project going on in Hampton Lumber, and Dave Hampton personally have all donated graciously to that endeavor. We also have taken on Girls Build. So if you're familiar with that at all, they have projects through the year. They call them camps. So they're a week long, and they've been in Tillamook and Warrington, 2 of our other mills. And Hampton Lumber has sponsored those in years past. We are sponsoring one in Willamina this year. It is August 8th through the 12th. So if you know any girls age 8 to 15 that want to come and be part of that, Kenna tells me that the project is taking old bicycles and converting them and building them into bike racks. So we're going to put those around town. So it'll be a great opportunity for them. But Hampton is sponsoring that. They're supporting that. We also have, in light of the steam bus that was just presented, we've had some different suppliers that we purchase parts and pieces and product from for Hampton Lumber that have all donated towards what we call our PYB van, Portland Youth Builders van. It's actually out for getting a vinyl wrap right now, but we're creating a tool cage in the back side of it. We've had different companies that have donated tools, materials monetarily so that we could purchase this, and then Hampton is donating the labor to be able to create this tool cage, make sure it's operational and can get on the road. And it's going to go up to Portland for the Portland Youth Builders there. So Hampton is very, very alive in our community and really wants to support Willamina. So what we're really asking for is support with this. I mean, financially, this will be a hit. And what we really want is for them to do their due diligence and look at the true socioeconomic impact. Ask the stakeholders what it's going to actually cost our communities. You guys have any questions?
I don't know that I have questions, Christine, but I do have a statement to make specific to this HCP. So you know that we're deeply immersed in this as a member of the Council of Forest Trust Lands, right? So the Council of Forest Trust Lands has been working on this since the inception of having an HCP specific to Oregon forests and county forest trust lands. And so David Yamamoto, Tillamook County Commissioner, is our chair of that organization and is working hard with all of our partners on a regular basis to make certain he's speaking for the counties in that trust. I have also been engaged in a lot of this. There's almost nothing here on this document you've got in front of me that I could accept. Almost nothing. And we've been very vocal as an organization about the flaws in the process that have happened with this habitat conservation plan. I want to support habitat as much as anybody does, but in order to do this fairly and not have it be a political show, you actually have to consider the socioeconomic values in the plan. And you also have to take into account real science that they have left out of this process. So we have argued about spotted owl habitat and what the barred owl is doing to that. And nothing in the process that has happened takes that real science into consideration. It doesn't take into consideration the real science of what's happening with marble murrelets across this area. And so to us, this is a political game more than it's a real habitat issue. And then finally, I would tell you, I have been a big proponent, not that the private timberland owners would care about this, the counties do, but I've been a proponent of at least considering what kind of a distribution formula that we're going to use under this new regime. Because Polk County has been impacted by habitat conservation for a long time. And because owl circles have dominated our state forest lands for the most part, we have been left with much less in all of the state forest process than some of our neighboring counties have. So that unfortunately has not gone anywhere because there have been other counties who do get more that have resisted my efforts to at least have a conversation about distribution formula. Again, that's not Hampton's concern. I get that, nor is it any of the other mill operators or private forest lands concerns generally. But to be a true partner, we have to have a real conversation about all of the elements in state forest management. And then finally, I would end with the realization that, again, I sit on the Association of ONC Counties. We continued to preach a sustained yield management formula and a management plan, a forest management plan that incorporates all of those elements of sustained yield management, which you folks lead in. You absolutely operate it. Anybody who runs private forest lands, operates private forest lands, knows that that's what has to happen. Excuse me. And I realize that you folks practice it the best anybody possibly can, and you're going to maintain habitat. You're going to maintain clean air, clean water, and a sustained plan, which means you harvest and you replant and you take care of the landscape. So that doesn't seem to echo very loud in this work. And I know your folks are in the room every time there's a conversation about where we're going with this. I don't know what more we can do, honestly. We're all trying our best, but frankly, we need new leadership at the state level and a different route for getting where we need. We can get this done. We can all get this done, but we shouldn't be using a sledgehammer to make it happen.
Well, thank you for your support and thank you for your time and thank you for your efforts.
Yeah.
I know that it's been a long haul and I know that you've put some serious time and energy into it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I take seriously our partnership. If you look at that map in the back of the room, half our county is covered with trees.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a reason why we need to do this together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time today. I really
And-
appreciate it.
I'll do whatever I can to help as well. And Craig's the lead on it, keeps us all informed. I grew up in a timber area where They came and tried to lock up half our state, state of Idaho. We gave them all of the roadless areas because we had enough region we could log and manage and never run out of timber. And there was like 31 sawmills within 40 miles of where I grew up. Now there's 3 because they just keep coming back and wanting more and more and more. And they just do not consider the social impact that they have on especially small communities with limited job opportunities. And in that area, you either work for the Forest Service or you logged. There's ranching and cattle, but I mean, you don't own the land, you don't get into that. So I'm very concerned of where this is going. This thing here sounded like it was kind of all created behind closed doors with a very few partners. They didn't bring a lot of us in until it was all said and done. And that's completely wrong. And what we're fighting for is to get that word out so we can protect our valued partners. So, yeah. And by the way, David Hampton, the smile you see on the mountain as you're leaving the casino heading east, it's up there on the right. That is David Hampton's creation. So tell him thank you very much, because every time I look at that, especially in the fall when those tamaracks start changing colors, it's gorgeous. It's pretty cool to see. So
Makes me smile.
yeah, shares a lot. So thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thanks for your commitment to the community of Willamina too. It means a lot, and you all are the standard bearers for that relationship.
Oh,
It's not ubiquitous across the coastal area. So thank you for that.
I love our town.
Any unlisted items today? With that, we're adjourned. So we have a team.